views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello and welcome to Leaders of the Future, a program produced by El Niño de la Caridad Foundation and BronxNet TV. My name is Fatima.
And my name is Nicholas Rivera. LOTF is a youth-led program by young people for young people to inspire, motivate, and educate.
That's right. I'm Jocelyn, and in this episode, we are going to discuss women empowerment. So stay tuned. This is Leaders of the Future. Two powerful women recently made history here in the Bronx. Vanessa Gibson became the first woman and the first African American woman Bronx Borough President and Deputy Borough President. Jeanette Peguero became the first Dominican woman to hold the deputy position. Let's watch their powerful, empowering stories.
My mom is one of the strongest Black women that I know, and I'm so grateful that she is my mom. My brother and I am the oldest of two. We watched her work full-time and struggle to make sure that we had the very best. And I think she put more on me as a girl, as the oldest, to be an example to my brother. I used to get upset because he didn't come home with 90s and it was okay, but when I didn't come home with 90s, it was a problem. But ultimately, I realized years later that my mom did the very best that she could, as she was raised by a strong Black woman. I am the first in my family to graduate from college. I'm the first in my family to get her master's degree. And so all of these firsts is really because of the sacrifice of my mom and the generations that came before her. My political mentor and mother in Aurelia Green transitioned in May of 2021 and didn't physically see my election, but I know spiritually she saw it, and I know she's very proud of me. But it was a surreal moment coming into the building, into the space where she spent so much of her time. So it was emotional and it was tough because I miss her. I miss talking to her. Sometimes, we doubt ourselves, and I didn't think I was a strong candidate. I didn't think that I could rise to the level of being an elected official, but she believed in me and she trusted me. For many generations, the Bronx has always been led by a male, a white man and then a Latino man. We solidified something that a lot of people never thought that we would ever do. I realized that my victory is the victory of my ancestors, because they sacrificed so that I could be here. I am their wildest dreams. I am their hopes. I am all of their aspirations. I am everything that they fought for. The world is yours to explore. And I, as your Bronx Borough President, am a living witness and a living example of all the great possibilities that you have. Because there were many people that told me I couldn't do it, just like they say to you. It's not your time. Fall back. Take a seat. Exit stage left, right? Whatever they say to you, they said to me too. But guess what? I didn't listen.
I was born in the Dominican Republic, in the capital, Santo Domingo. I came to this country at the age of 6. My mom is relentless. She put us first each and every time. And she came to this country also not speaking a word of English, and she just navigated. To quote the great Tupac, although we had it rough, we always had enough, and that was my upbringing. Then I later realized that my adversity was my superpower, right? Because in that, I was able to say, okay, this is difficult, and I know it because I have lived experience, so how can I make it easier? The borough president, she always says you can't be what you can't see. And that's exactly what my upbringing was about. I didn't see folks that look like me in these roles. Really believe and lean into women. We know what we're doing. We have lived experience, we have professional experience, When you support a woman, you're supporting a family. When you support a family, you're supporting a community. What's important is to create a pathway for other women to encourage them to take up space in spaces where they're not often welcomed. We are the only borough led by 2 women in the city of New York. We're here to stay, and we're here to open doors, and we're shattering the glass ceilings.
Wow, those are really powerful stories. Let's reflect on what we heard. How did the video make you all feel?
The story made me feel like inspired about what she struggled with uh, into her life, and how much time she took to achieve that goal.
I agree with you as well because sometimes it's hard to like be a leader and everything, but like you have to stay strong and like keep going and have hope that you're like doing well.
Especially since they are like the first woman to run in that position, I think it's just such a great achievement and just something really that like we're living history right now.
I agree. Thank you all for sharing. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more leaders of the future.
Hello and thanks for staying with us on Leaders of the Future. We're now happy to be joined by Nancy Genova.
She is the president of the board of 100 Hispanic Women National. Welcome, Nancy. Thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Nancy, what and who are the 100 Hispanic women?
So, the 100 Hispanic Women was founded over 25 years ago. We're going to be celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. The reason the organization was founded was to provide support to Latinas that were just arriving in professional fields. And it was a way for us to bring women together so that they could network professionally, and also this way they could maximize their capacity when they wanted to make changes. After that, we grew to have a scholarship program, then a wellness conference that is really the premier event of the organization. We also have a mentoring program for Latinas 11 to 18 years old. And we do numerous other activities throughout the year. And we have several programs now in different areas of New York and New Jersey.
Please tell us about your scholarship program.
So, the scholarship program, we started with one, the Young Latina Leadership Institute. And at the time, we only used to give the scholarship to CUNY students, but we've expanded that now. You could, any student could apply for it. So, it's for Latinas that all they need is to have one Latino parent. The scholarship comes out in the fall, and there's a criteria online so anybody can look at it if they go to our website, and you have to apply within the deadline. Now, the Young Latina Leadership Institute, once you're successful in your application, will give you $1,000 a year for the 4 years, and you don't have to reapply as long as you sustain a GPA of 3.0 or above. We also have a graduate program that ranges from a few $100s if you're part time to $2,500 a year for 4 years, and we also have an associate level program for those students that are majoring in healthcare administration or public administration. So our programs have grown, our scholarship programs have grown from the first program.
Wow, that's really interesting. What types of obstacles do Latina women and young girls face?
Well, all women in general are, if you look at history, women have been oppressed much more than anyone else in terms of gender. We've been seen as the property of men, and women have had very little rights. Recently, we celebrated 100 years of women getting the vote, and that's white women in the United States. And then the vote was later on. Um, Women of color were able to participate. But one of the things that has happened is that because women have been oppressed, they have not had access to the same opportunities as men. In addition to not having access, many women, especially Latinas, of all women in the United States, Latinas are the least paid of all women. So for every dollar a white man makes, a Latina will make 55, 57 cents. And so that makes a big difference in terms of the entire career, because you end up making like $1 million less throughout your career, and your social security is based on what you earn. Some people that work for profit companies have a 401k. People that work for nonprofits have a 403b. And so that means that you have less opportunity to put money away. And that also impacts generational wealth. So if you're trying to create wealth for like your family and for your children and for them to carry it on, then every generation falls behind because they don't have the same access. So that's really the biggest issue and the biggest obstacles. And that's one of the things that the 100 Hispanic Women is working on actively today, is in reducing the pay inequality. This mobilization, the federal government has actually heard us. And so now there is companies that are mobilizing things throughout the United States to give Latinas opportunities, because Latinas ask for raises just like anyone else, but they don't make and they don't make the same amount of money, and they don't get promoted at the same level as other groups. And that's really that's an obstacle for Latinas. But in reality, a lot of people are not aware that that's going to become an obstacle for the entire country, because the way that everything is paid, from public school to law enforcement to your roads to your bridges to you name it, every kind of government program is paid by tax dollars. And Latinas soon will make up 1/3 of the women that work in the United States. And if the 1/3 of your female working population is not earning what they're supposed to be earning, then you will collect less taxes as a country, and you will not be able to support the same level of benefits for the community. So this is really a very, very serious issue, and an issue that government hasn't really focused on. And so that's a big problem. It's a big problem for the Latino community. It's a big problem for communities that have a lot of Latinos, but it's a big problem for the country as a whole, especially because the reason the United States has kept their power is because they're an economic power in the world. And they'll lose that if their biggest constituency is not earning the amount of money that they should be earning.
That is shocking. What does empowerment mean to you, Nancy, and why is it important to empower young Latinas?
Well, empowerment to me means economic power, right? You want to have economic power, but for women, because women have been so oppressed for so many years, even when they have economic power, they're still not at a level playing field in the workplace, because disproportionately opportunities go to men. So when a company is grooming like people to be executives, they have focus on grooming men. So there is economic power, and then there is power that you could exercise, like at the government level. That's why the appointment of Katashi Jackson Brown was so important for women, and to have another woman of color in the highest court of the land, right? You want equal distribution. We're still not 50% of women, but we're getting close to that on the Supreme Court. You want to see the same thing in Congress. You want to see the same thing. We need to have the first woman president, because that will be symbolic. So power is about economic power, and also power in government and in corporations. There's a list, right? There's 500 companies that are the Fortune 500 companies. Those are the companies that make the most money in the world. So they have enormous international power. But if you just do a Google search, you could fact check me. You will see that the top three companies are not run by women. And what we're saying is, don't put a woman in just because she's a woman. We want a qualified woman, right? Because we want everything to run at an exceptional level. But we have qualified women. We do. We have women that have gone to the best colleges. We have women that have graduated in the top of their class. We have women that have incredible skills, because women are great at negotiating and managing. And we're just not giving them the opportunity. And everyone loses when you do that, because you could actually maximize the growth for a company, the growth for a country, all of that by giving women opportunities. So that's what empowerment means to me.
Can you share an inspiring story about a Youth 100 Hispanic women supported, and where are they today?
We have so many young women that we help, and we have changed the trajectory of their career. So if I share one, we used to, like I said, only give scholarships to CUNY students. We had a CUNY student that was at Lehman, and she had big ambitions for herself, and so she had received the scholarship as an undergrad at Lehman, and then wanted to go to one of the Ivy League schools, to Cornell. And she looked to our office so that we could even help her, like, tweak her essay, because the essay is so important in getting into those schools. And so we helped her with the essay in her voice. She had a really compelling story. Her parents were immigrants from the Dominican Republic. She came to us and applied. She was a top student at Lehman. She got our scholarship. We helped her with her essay. She got into Cornell. She ends up being the president of the Latino club there. And today, that student is a college graduate that works in a sustainable company. So she's working on global climate change, and she's doing incredible work. And that's just one. We have so many of our students that went on to do such incredible things. And the reason that they say that it helped them is because many of them were the first who graduated from college, and they had never seen a Latina who had a professional job. And so once they saw the women that we exposed them to, they realized they could do it too. Because, it's not that you're extraordinary. If you're given the opportunity and you do the work, you could do it. You could do it.
How can we learn more and stay in touch with 100 Hispanic women?
So, the way that you could learn about all our activities and our scholarships and our mentoring program is to go to our website, 100hispanicwomen.org. And you could also become a member there. We have membership levels at different price points, and we even have a membership level for students and for seniors. And those memberships help support all our programs, including the scholarship and the mentoring program. So everything that you want to know is there. We also have a lot of content on YouTube. So you could go on YouTube and, put on the search line 100 Hispanic Women, and you'll see interviews with our students, and you'll see activities that we've done. And so I hope that the audience that's listening to this show will consider becoming a member and also consider supporting us in some way. We also have programs in different areas. They could join a program near them.
What message would you like to leave the youth with today?
Well, one of my favorite quotes is from a Mexican Hungarian psychologist. Her name is Dr. Clarissa Picola Estes. She wrote a book, Women Who Run with Wolves. And in that book, she says sometimes we're so afraid to take chances, but you have to take the chance in order for you to move forward. So, this is one of her quotes that has always stayed with me. It says, "Do not be afraid of failure, because failure is a greater teacher than success." I'm so happy to have been a part of this show today. Thank you.
Thank you for leaving us with this very impactful message. I think 100 Hispanic Women will definitely help a bunch of Latina women out there.
So happy. And we like Latino men too. So if you know a female in your life, just send her to us.
Thank you, Nancy, for this empowering conversation. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more leaders of the future. Thank you for sticking with us here on Leaders of the Future. This episode has been all about women empowerment. I'm happy to be joined by my colleagues to discuss this. So, which woman inspires you in your life?
My mom inspired me with my life. Like she keep telling me to keep going, to never give up and achieve my goal. And I never gave up that goal.
A woman that inspires me is my mother. She has done so much for me, and she has stressed so much, and I just feel like she's done so much that sometimes it's hard to give up back everything she has done for me.
A woman that inspires me has been Sonia Sotomayor. She is one of the judges in the Supreme Court, and she's from the Bronx, so I feel like she going from being really poor, and I've been reading a book about her, and she's gone through all of these difficulties, but look where she is now, being in the Supreme Court. Nicholas, what do you think makes your mom an empowered woman?
My mom work hard, is helpful, help me do stuff when I can't do it, and she worked hard for me and my family. She never give up for any of us, and she really inspired me.
Jocelyn, what do you think makes your mom an empowered woman?
She has helped me a lot, like through my difficult times. She's always with me, and like if I ask her for something, she'll give it to me. I know she like works a lot, and so working a lot helps me understand and like follow up to her because she has done so much for me, and she's doing her best.
What I think Sonia Sotomayor makes her an empowered woman is that she like never gave up on her dream, and she when always people would always tell her that she couldn't do it, and she proves them wrong every single time. What types of challenges did the woman that you choose have overcome?
Um, Bills, schools, and what else? And groceries.
My mom has overcome a lot of difficulties in her job, with us as well, like in education wise, and also bills.
Sonia Sotomayor, since she was a little girl, she had type 1 diabetes, and her father died when she was only 9 years old. So she was practically raised by a single mother, and her mother was really poor. They lived in the projects, so she really had a hard time in her family, but she made it. So I think it proves that it doesn't matter really where you come from, because that doesn't really define who you are. If you can leave her a message of gratitude, what would you tell her, the woman that you choose as inspiring?
That you was a great mother, and you helped me with all difficult things, and you never gave up to me, and I'm really thankful for that.
Thank you for all you have done, and thank you for being by my side and for always being there. I know sometimes there's like this miscommunication, but like it's always for the better. You're always teaching me something good, and so it's been great to have you in my life.
I would say that thank you for showing us that people from the Bronx can make it far, and we could be great people in our lives and just help our community just like you did. Thank you, Jocelyn and Nicholas, for this conversation. You chose some great empowering women. Looking forward for our future conversations. That's all for our show today. Thank you for joining us.
To learn more about Niño de la Caridad Foundation, visit us online at niñodelacaridad.com.
Also follow us at Niño de la Caridad Foundation on social media. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Leader of the Future.